Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back with some more Pittsburgh Steelers recap and analysis of their 16-10 win over the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday. Pittsburgh now 7-4 on the season. A big win, a better offense. Let's talk about it. And before I start, if you guys could like this video, also subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate that. But wasn't perfect, not by a long shot, and the points I know are similar, and they have to be there. It is a results-oriented business. That is why Matt Canada is no longer the OC in Pittsburgh, but the offense felt as good this game as it had all season, and frankly, probably in quite some time. The word of the week really is fluidity, that Mike Tomlin used, explaining why they moved on from Canada, and you saw a lot more fluidity, rhythm, just effectiveness, overall efficiency with the offense today. There were negative plays, and that really stalled some drives. Pittsburgh in the first half really beat themselves with opportunities, miscompletions, the fumble, the sacks, the negative plays like that. Deontay going backwards early in that game on that first possession for sure. And so that's how you end up with 16 points despite your first 400 plus yard game since 2020. So those things have to get worked on, but you just had a better balance of run and pass game. Freiermuth over the middle, distributing the ball to more people, to Johnson, to Pickens a little bit later in the game, to Freiermuth, to Darnell Washington, those types of things you want to see. Of course, the run game maybe didn't have the super gaudy numbers that it had, but it was, continually effective, and thought late in that game, the run game was really, important to get some first downs and chew up clock and put Chris Boswell in an easy, makeable field goal range. And so just the combination of those things, Pickett just felt more confident. He took some shots. He was getting the ball out quicker. Struggled with pressure when the Bengals dial up those pressure sim looks on third down. It's tough to deal with. And I thought Pickett, had some issues there, but on the whole, just more decisive, and the offense just kind of felt more cohesive. Overall, we'll check the tape and have a video or a film or article either on the site or on the channel for us to really dive into the differences in this game. I don't think Pittsburgh radically changed their scheme. Of course not. You can't do that in a couple of days, but just overall hitting all the right notes and striking a better balance. Really good on third down, 8 of 16 on third down. That's 50%. They were 25% their last two games prior to Sunday's win over the Bengals. So, situational football, that's really critical as well. Defensively, obviously, Pittsburgh having the advantage of facing Jake Browning in his first career start. No Joe Burrow in this one, and so you knew the offense for Cincinnati was not going to be as potent as it would be if Burrow was in the lineup. They were out without T. Higgins. They're one of their top receivers as well. So just overall, bottling up Joe Mixon, really containing that run game and making Jake Browning make some plays. And he had a couple of plays. I thought he played a reasonably decent game, especially in the first half, but kind of made him really come on strong late in that game, and that's where you're able to kind of close that one out. Trenton Thompson, shout out to him. I thought he had, ever since getting signed mid-camp when they had all those injuries and the secondary with the safeties and Corey Trice went down for the season, Thompson came in. Thought he had a really good summer. He can hit. He's physical. He's got ball skills. Had a pick in the preseason. Made the practice squad. Has worked his way up. Kind of a Robert Spillane type thing of, just working your way up the ladder from, getting on the roster to practice squad to kind of getting elevated, and now on the 53 starting, making plays. So kudos to him for that. The pass rush was more consistent overall, collapsing the pocket. Of course, Alex Highsmith and especially TJ Watt getting pressure. Watt 2 sacks in this one. Might want to block that guy on third down in the fourth quarter. The Bengals seem to forget about number 90, and he'll certainly make you pay on that. So just overall, good run defense, solid situational football. And again, a Thompson pick was huge. The Bengals were driving a big spot there. And so to get the play there was just critical for the way this game was going. Special teams, I thought from a punting standpoint and kicking standpoint, Boswell, Harvin were fine. They were solid. Everything else was kind of a mess, and that's one reason why Pittsburgh, squandered opportunities, and this game was close. They didn't score as many points as they could have or should have with some of the other numbers that you would look at. Whether that's penalties on the punt return team or allowing a long run back on a kick. I think Mike Tomlin talked about that after the game. I mentioned that in my timeline during the game, that field position was in the Bengals' favor, and in close games with offenses trying to find themselves and they're struggling, field position is really important. And so I thought there were some issues there overall. Got to down some of those punts. I thought Harvin had one, that I guess the first one at the 5. It bounced up, and Pierre and Boykin, normally very good, but could not down the football it was a touchback. You can't have 2 touchbacks. That's stuff that just, you see the Browns in last week when they have that opening drive, no points, but they punt. They pin Pittsburgh back at their 7. They get a near safety. I mean, and Pittsburgh has to punt. Browns go down the field, score in their second possession. Those things really, add up overall. So Pittsburgh finding a way to win. Despite that, that's the key. Going 7-4, winning this one on the road. Now 3-1 in the AFC North as opposed to being 2-2 in the North. That is obviously critical. So really happy with things overall. Still plenty to work on. This team not out of the woods yet, but progress. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm sure I missed some stuff here that we can talk about as well. Shout out Najee Harris as well. I mentioned the run game a little bit, but I should mention Najee Harris specifically. I thought he ran really hard. I know Warren's been getting all the buzz, rightfully so, but Harris showed that he's not going to be just tossed aside either. This will be a committee or remain a committee. Some days Warren will be the guy like he was last week. This week it was Najee Harris. So kudos to him for putting his head down and working. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you guys watching. Please like this video. Please also subscribe to the channel. We'll have a lot of content for you guys on the channel, on the site, SteelersDepot.com. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.